Welcome to a new episode of Software as a Success Factor. I'm your host, Daniela Boli, and today with me on the show is Beat Fluri. He's CTO and Head of Technology and Innovation at Adnovum. He's passionate about new software engineering technologies that enhance value stream and mental flow. He has more than 15 years of experience in technology and leadership and works since over 10 years for Adnovum in different roles. Adnovum is a Swiss software company that offers support in the digitalization of business processes for companies who want to differentiate themselves through innovative digitalization solutions. So thank you for being to the show today. Great to have you, Beat.
A pleasure.
So what is the most important thing for you as a CTO? And what is the most important thing for your customers?
Okay. First, the CTO part. So for me, since the name technology is in the title of my role, the most important part is to bring emerging technologies and new things from existing technologies that we usually use into play. So consider what can we do with new things and also towards our customer. How can we improve, for instance, quality, productivity, or also a business value to our customers? From a customer's point of view, it depends a bit on what you seek. So when you look at what capabilities we can bring as a software engineering company or as a tailor-made software engineering company, it's of course being in budget, bring value in quality and also in time. And so therefore you also need to have the means to create amazing digital solutions for our customers. And the second part, of course, is to create the value that the customers need. So they usually have a business strategy, a digital business model, which we like to support and also to, in a way, serve that they can get the most value out of it. And then it's a combination on how we create software with them in a collaborative way, and also in what technology we can provide and have knowledge of to bring our customers to their success.
And what are some of the key factors to make your company and the company of your customers successful?
I think the most important part is a collaboration on eye level. So what works pretty good is if both parties or multiple parties, if you have a collaboration among also other suppliers, that everybody gets the same understanding of the artifacts. So you collaborate on the same tooling with the same information, have an exchange of what is really necessary and what not, what can we change in the future, where do we bring relatively fast value to their clients or to their employees. It depends a bit on the setting. And this is possible if you also have a good trust relationship. So therefore, sharing all the information, especially in a collaborative environment where you don't need to classically send around documents via mail, but everybody has the same information, then you can really boost these cycles. So I think eye level trust and access to the same information is a key ingredient to then create a successful application.
So you would say the collaboration or the human spectrum of developing a software is more important than the kind of having cutting edge or whatever technology to drive the success? Or is it a bit a combination of both, in your opinion?
Well, technology in the end is always a means to the end, right? So if you have a clear understanding on what you would like to achieve together, and what is really important, being it a performance of the backend, or being it the usability aspect of your mobile application, then you choose the right technology for it. But first, you need to have an understanding on what you want to achieve together and how you collaborate on the way to get to this goal. And then you can select the technology. And I think what customers expect from us is then that they get the right technology advisory from us. So when we have a common understanding on what the goal or the target is, then we can advise them best in selecting which of the means and technologies. And therefore, of course, you need to have a toolbox of cool and fancy technology, and also of the right fit. But that's not the most important part in the end. Sometimes you find solution with very easy technology, and you don't even need the most cutting edge one.
Definitely. And as every company is becoming more and more a tech company due to digitalization, and software builds is a critical part of your customer success. In other words, like everything depends on software. How do you make software dependable?
What do you mean by dependable?
Like the software is not always reliable, of course. There might be crashes, or there might be, if it's integrated with other software, that there are some errors, or even if it's long after the launch, lifecycle management, that there sometimes or often software is not completely behaving as it's expected to be. I think every most software is. And
that's in its nature.
Always, yeah, that's always like this huge challenge or thing. Like you have a great software, you have like a great idea or concept behind it, or it's a huge value software. But how do you make sure it's dependable, or how do you ensure the quality of the software? So it's working as expected.
Okay. So you mean dependable in the sense of reliability of the software? Okay.
Yes.
That's an important question, and also an important part to tackle. So currently, the most important means to do that, I would say, is the whole DevOps movement. And not DevOps in the way of just bringing Dev and Ops together, but more in how you approach. So what are the ways of DevOps? I mean, you increase flow, you get feedback, you learn, continuously learn, and especially the first two. So flow means that you can automate many things. You automate the whole pipeline from creating the software, committing it until it's in production. And if you have the means, or you build up the means along the way, that you can have a reliable automated test set, that if a change in the software goes completely through automatically until production, you are relatively confident that it works. And nowadays, you also have the possibility of so-called continuous verification with observability, where you also challenge test results against production information. So does this piece of software still behave the same way on the load test, for instance, as you have in production? And if this is not the case, the pipeline will not allow to deploy into production. So with these means, you can increase the confidence level of having always a reliable setup. And in the worst case, if you're also able to roll back a certain misbehaving release, then it's even better. But the way until you get there is not easy.
Yeah, and I think testing always is kind of unsexy part of development, or the I don't know, a lot of companies, of course they do it and it has a huge importance, but it's most like getting until the end of the development. So how is your approach or strategy there? Is it like you test everything in between? You are as well in the shift left movement, or you do it like classic in the end? Or what is your approach or take that works best for you, or in your setting with your team to have high quality?
But that strongly depends on. So the whole process strongly depends on the customer setup, and also on how the customer would like to have this procedure, right? So because we are not a product company, or mostly we have individual customers with individual solutions, and therefore individual processes. So that depends a bit, but you always can have certain guidelines that you would like to adhere. So, for instance, I'm a huge fan of test-driven development. Sometimes this sounds new, but it's really old. During my studies, I already did it, test-driven development. So, with test-driven development, you have the first block of ensuring your own safetyness, so-called. So the code that you create, you can test immediately, right? So this is, for me personally, also when I was a software engineer, it was not a question whether I use test-driven development or not, because I felt much more safe and confident having these tests. But that's not everybody is doing this. I know. And then you have integration tests. These are still automated. Many of them you can also do in a unit test kind of environment, or at least in API calls, and then it goes on, right? And some of our clients, they would like to do manual tests because the acceptance testing then and in ideal cases, you can then make regression tests out of these acceptance tests and automate them. But that depends also a bit on the setup that you have. But we have the means that our projects can do that, so that you have at least a full set of automated tests until you ship the artifact. And whether we deploy directly into production or not is highly dependent on the setup with the client. Some of the clients have their own operation center and they just get the artifact and then they do the deployment by themselves.
So it's the classic scenario, what you said, you like ship and they take care of it afterwards, or is it more like you do as well the lifecycle management, and even after the launch, you make sure everything is working?
I would say over the last couple of years and also towards the future, it shifts towards that we also do lifecycle management or even operation, being it at our premises or on customer premises. That depends a bit, but so. I would say the first 20 to 25 years of the existence of Adnovum, we shipped the artifact and then they took care, right? But then we had maintenance and further development contracts where you have long year contracts where you still be active on the solution. But they usually took care. And now that it started to shift, more and more companies would like to rely completely on us in terms of you provide everything we need that the software is running. You develop it, you run it, right? So and which is good because they should concentrate on their key capabilities, and we can concentrate on our capabilities, right?
So they're kind of, I don't know, for example, in insurance, they're not kind of used to be a tech company, but now through digitalization, they're becoming more and more a tech company. And that's why they kind of outsource it to you. So they still focus on what their key business in the means of insurance is, and everything they have for digitalization and being up to date and having the latest offering for the clients, or more focused offering on the clients. That's then your part.
Yeah, maybe insurance is not the best example because they usually are huge and have everything in it they need, right? But there are other one of my favorite example is the mobility case, where they concentrate on mobility in the literally, right? So how can you bring mobility to people? And they use us to provide the perfect means to do that from a digital point of view, right? So and I think this is a perfect synergy.
Yeah, definitely. And what would you say, as you're specialized in this, helping and companies during the digitalization and providing the software solution? I think since years, everybody talks about digitalization, but I think in real life, at least what my take is on that, most companies are not yet that digital. Or what would you say from what you see in the face of digitalization? Where are companies at right now?
It depends a bit on the industry. So some of the industry are quite far, and then you also need to distinguish between what is the end user getting. So if you for instance take healthcare or how do you say health insurance companies, from a interaction with their clients' point of view, they seem pretty digital. Behind the scenes, they might have processes, many of the processes which are not yet digitalized, right? So it depends a bit on the perspective. However, I think so in the last couple of years, also because of the pandemic, it started to get a push, this digitalization, and the thing that most companies need to be aware of is that they don't do puzzle piece by piece digitalization, but they think about the holistic process in the end. So what is the end-to-end process which creates value? How do we digitalize that so that you also transform the business model towards a more digital business model, right? Because otherwise, if you only take this piece out and say, okay, now we do an automation around it, you still might have media cuts in between, and you don't really gain or can leverage the whole life cycle, right? So therefore, we also would like to advise our clients holistically in this case, so that we say, okay, show me the end-to-end process. How do you do that? And then we think about how we can digitalize or even transform this instead of doing just this piece and then that piece.
Yeah, more from a process perspective or user journey perspective.
End to end, exactly. Yeah. User journey, end to end value generation.
Yeah. And before talking about like modern technology, you're speaker at Beyond GPT. May you say just in a few words, what is your take on GenAI, or what is, in your opinion, what role does GenAI play in software and digitalization?
So I think at the current stage and what is possible, how it's going to be developed is a bit looking into the glass bowl, because it's so fast. In 2 months, something else can come up which will amaze us all. But currently, I would say is that the most important part, or the most part that can have impact, is the AI augmentation. So the whole co-piloting of any kind of work, which of course is also for software engineers, it fits perfectly, right? Because you can, what you usually do, very simplistically said, is you are at the problem, then you get stuck, you Google, you find something on Stack Overflow, you copy it, and then you go on. And what you now can do is you can interact with a system that helps you getting there incrementally, and you don't need to go away from your integrated development environment. And I think this is a huge boost in terms of flow. But it won't. So also a flow in the sense of DevOps, but it won't stop there. So you can integrate much more information. You can also you will be able to integrate your own code base, the code base of the company, of other projects. You can learn from yourself, so from yourself in knowledge-wise over the whole company, and you can increase this augmentation step by step, and then also to other functions. So I think this will help us massively against the war for talents. Because you can do more with the same amount of people.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's not about we will lose jobs. I don't think so, but it will help us in cutting the peaks of people limitations.
Yeah.
Or resource
which is still a
limitations.
huge topic in IT and development. Yeah. Thank you so much, Beat, for your time. Where could people find you if they want to connect with you or learn more?
Of course, via LinkedIn. That's the easiest way. Other than that, we are located in Zurich, Wiedikon, Kalkbreite. So we can also have a chat there. I would say LinkedIn is the easiest. There I can connect relatively fast.
Perfect. I'm going to put that in the show notes so everybody can find you. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure and was great having you.
Thank you too. Thank you for inviting me. It was an interesting experience. Thank you.